Thank you. Can everyone hear me? Great. I think BFSI is one of my favorite industry. It was the first industry to get digitized, and BFSI industry is all about money as well. So obviously, it's a good industry, right? More importantly, I firmly believe that BFSI as an industry will play a very key role as India gets into the next stage of growth. I think what I've seen is over 2 decades. I've been active in this industry as an investor and as a consumer as well. So what I've seen is that relatively in India, BFSI industry has been managed in a very good way. We have banks who are doing so well, and we have the private sector banks, public sector banks, small finance banks, and so on, right? So many innovations, but still we have managed to balance all the risks in a good way. And the most recent example has been when some of the banks in the US or other economies had been going under, we pretty much kind of did very well, and I'm sure the industry experts here would be able to throw a lot more light on these things. Small finance banks, so much innovation in that area as well. Insurance has been growing. We've just been discussing with Rathin how all aspects of insurance has been growing, and that's a good sign because insurance is all about risk management, and I think as a nation we are getting smarter on how we are planning to manage risks. So that's a good sign as well. Meaning, fintech has been a revolution in itself. UPI has been doing so well. So in this context, I think a lot of digitization has happened and a lot of digitization has yet to happen as we go along, because as we know, a large part of our economy is connected, but some part of our economy is not yet connected, and which will also happen over a period of time. So setting this context, what I would start with is probably, every panelist can introduce themselves. Let me introduce myself. So I'm Siddharth. I'm Managing Director at MIQ Digital. So we work with a lot of data. We have a global data lake. We have a big India data lake as well. So, and it is all GDPR compliant. And with that, then we go into data science solutions and combine that with programmatic media and other media. So we do a lot of very innovative data science solutions and combine that with media solutions. And we work in all the industries. And we are like a global billion-dollar MNC, and I look after the India business for MIQ and for the APAC strategy. Rest of the panelists can introduce themselves. So Rathin, yeah.
So I'm Rathin Lahiri. I head marketing and CSR for SBI General Insurance Company. We are approximately close to 12,000 crore company. As I was mentioning to Siddharth, the industry is such that it's growing very, very rapidly. It's a massive industry growing at 15% and it's a very exciting place to kind of be there.
Hello, good evening. I'm Azmat Habibulla. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of South Indian Bank. Just a bit about South Indian Bank. It's a legacy private sector bank, 94-year-old bank. And food for thought, 95% of our transactions are digital. I've been a banker for a large part of my career. Previous to this, I was in ICICI Bank for a long time. And we are in the process here in South Indian Bank of massive digital transformation, and I'm happy to take the lead on that.
Hello guys, this is Pulkit, Narayan, founder and CEO for Dangle. So we launched this company almost 6 years back, and today we are here serving most of the BFSI clients which are already here, right? So we are specialized in 360 marketing solution, majorly performance marketing and programmatic. So we have our own set of audience segmentation which is available to every client, which can be pushed at any given point of time. So this is what we do, and BFSI has been contributing almost 55% of overall ad spends, especially in our industry. So yes, it's a great thing for us here.
Hi, I'm Sarvesh Bagla. I'm the founder and CEO of Techmagnate. Techmagnate is a leading digital marketing agency that specializes in SEO. So 7-8 years ago, we started working in BFSI marketing with Bajaj Finserv. And over the years, we've sort of helped them dominate search across every single line of business in BFSI. And because of the good work we've done with them, we now work with a large number of banks, NBFCs, fintechs. So we've got some fantastic experience on the BFSI side. Thank you.
Great. So this is a question to everyone. So you can talk about some key highlights of your business, and then also give insights on what are the key digital channels which have proven to be the most effective in your business, and probably also take an overview on the BFSI sector as well. So your business, channels for your business, and how do you see digital channels for overall BFSI sector as well?
Okay. So let me begin. So India has approximately 140 crore odd consumers or citizens. If we take our mother company, State Bank of India, that has got around 45 to 48 crore bank accounts or customers, right? And if you look at each of the subsidiaries of the bank, whether it's life insurance, general insurance, mutual funds, cards, what they have successfully done is tap into the mothership and be able to cross-sell and upsell. As a result, actually barring SBI General Insurance, which came into the business 10 years later, it's all the other subsidiaries are actually leaders in their category. So mutual funds, SBI Mutual Fund is the leader, SBI Life Insurance, private sector, they're the leader, and so on and so forth, right? So I think, as Azmat was also saying, if you take a certain category of customers who are actually transacting, they are all digital. So I think for financial services today, if you look at the addressable market, if you look at the customers who are kind of transacting, they are almost 100% digital. Now, some of them may choose to, not do certain transactions digitally and so on, but that's a really, really very small single-digit percentage, right? So that is the first point, that customers today for most financial services, are digital. And maybe they are not acquired digitally, but their retention, their upsell, cross-sell, their whole, customer lifecycle management is all actually, largely managed digitally. So that I would say is a very, very key point in this category. The second thing I think is that over the last 3-4 years, and largely because of, I would say, Aadhaar, because of UPI, I think what has happened is India today, digitally is an absolute first world country, right? I mean, I think that is without question. I personally think that even compared to a lot of the European countries, we're actually ahead of them, right? So while our infrastructure might be taking some time to, grow and evolve, the digital infrastructure today is actually world class, right? And customers are, so that's the second point. The third is, I think we are a very young nation, right? I think our median age is, 31, 32, whatever. As a result of that, you find that the adoption of newer technologies, has been very, very high. The fact that today, smartphone penetration is virtually everybody again has a smartphone. The penetration of WhatsApp again, and WhatsApp used for communication, WhatsApp used for transactions is very, very high. All of this has meant that it's actually easier for you to reach out to a customer, and it's equally easier for a customer to reach out to you and complete a transaction digitally than to do it in any other format. So I think because of all of this, this I think has laid the seeds for a faster growth, faster adoption, lower costs, and therefore higher, to a certain extent, higher profitability for customers. But more important, I think, because India is again such a competitive market, the lower cost structures have all got passed on as benefits largely to the customers. So, across categories, the cost of operations in India are one of the lowest in financial services. that again has led to higher adoption because the price points are lower. So, so all in all, I think it's an absolutely exciting phase. And you couple this with the fact that we are a $3.5–4 trillion economy, and is, in the next 3, 4, 5 years will be $8–10 trillion, which is doubling of the economy, which is doubling of, the income levels. All of this means there is high growth available for, any of the market participants.
Great. So, yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of digital channels and how it is evolving, I mean, BFSI has been an industry which has, adopted digital at the fastest pace, and literally all the channels are in good use, at least for BFSI sector, and each one has their pros and cons. Just one thing which is what has worked for us and which I would like to touch upon, and which is very significant also in banking, is that our journey with the customer starts from the customer opening an account. Unlike some of the other industries, it doesn't end with the purchase, it actually starts from that purchase. And that, for us, a customer is profitable when the customer transacts with us, or makes us the primary banker. Everybody has multiple accounts. All of you all would be having at least 3 to 4 accounts. But you will have one which is your primary bank, and that is our endeavor. So as to be profitable, and so as for the customer also to add value. And for this, something which we do and which is very important is, automated trigger-based campaigns. It is also powered by AR. So this is, based on the customer's behavioral input and transactional inputs, which are, analyzed, and then triggers are posted, and there is a whole lot of communication which has been pre-designed and pre-made, but it is served to the customer basis the trigger. So you as a customer get a very personalized communication, and you're not bombarded by an overdose, but it is done basis your behavior. I'll just give you an example. And in that sense, an onboarding process for a customer, which is the first 90 days, is very critical for us as a bank. And we do these automated trigger-based campaigns, especially, this is one of the areas where we do it. So once the customer is opened an account, the next step, logical step would be, of course, to tell him or her everything about the bank and all the channels, and activate all our digital channels, the banking app, the internet banking, and WhatsApp banking, and all the channels that we have, and sequentially move the customer up the curve. So, for example, we've activated a debit card, then we would serve debit card offers. We would induce the customer to make basic level transactions on the app once they've activated the app, and then gradually evolve to investment solutions, and so on and so forth. And the whole idea is to ensure that at least 3 to 4 transactions happen in the first 45 days, and this is absolutely essential to prevent early attrition of a customer. Also to activate them digitally, because digitally, customers who are on digital platforms are 80% more sticky with your bank. So given these insights, this kind of an automated trigger-based approach has really worked for us. And it has scored on all the key matrices of higher balances, lower attrition, lower dormancy, and so on. In terms of a bit about where the industry is going, I mean, we are fast moving to an age where we are talking not only personalization, but we're talking about personalization at scale, even for non-customers. So that's where the industry is moving to. And it's no longer an option for all of us here, all of us marketeers here, to do segmented and personalized and data-driven campaigns, it is absolutely essential. And it's not enough just doing that. We also need to serve the right communication to the right customer at the right time, at the moment of truth, which is where it makes the difference.
So Siddharth, I personally think, because obviously these are the clients, right? So we are the audience, and I should be sitting there idly. But yes, whatever we are consuming as of now, if we realize that the way BFSI sector has adapted, digital ecosystem, you talk about any channels, you talk about social media, you talk about mobile, you talk about content, you talk about video for that matter. So social media is not social media anymore, right? So it has become one of the way of communicating with the clients, with their prospect customers. And if we talk about, they also have, a lot of banks have enabled a chatbot service in the social media page itself. You talk about LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram now. Let's say if you talk about video, instead of now, if you talk about YouTube, YouTube is not a normal content consumption for the consumer these days. But for the BFSI sector, it has become one of the main, communication way of, let's say, they created a lot of, I guess HDFC has also created a couple of short video apps, short video content for the user who are interested to, or let's say they're just starting their financial career as of now, right? So they prefer to go through YouTube channel, and they're trying to communicate there itself. And definitely you have links below where you can connect with the customer supports. You talk about mobile apps, because obviously I was listening to Ishank as well this morning, and because UPI has actually changed the complete way digital payment used to happen, 3 years, 4 years back, right? 10 billion transactions, that's a phenomenal thing. And I think that the way BFSI segment is tapping digital ecosystem is commendable.
So, Jahid, you can introduce yourself, and then, we were talking about what are the big digital channels for your business and for BFSI as an overall sector.
Cool. Hi, guys. Sorry for coming late. My name is Zahid. I head digital for HDFC Bank. Thanks for that nice validation also. Okay. So I think major channels, how it has evolved will be, so I think the fantastic one is, first of all, the way we kind of categorize, right? First, if it's Toma, the couple of things that has really evolved is to create my top of the mind recall for my products or for my brand. One is significantly influencer marketing. But what will depend is how are you leveraging influencer marketing? It cannot be run of the mill. Okay, how are you doing it differently? Is it standing out? That's significant. We have done some phenomenal campaign. I don't know how many guys have heard of Vigilante, but then Vigilante kind of did some, when we did a brand track understanding, the kind of growth that we had from a Vigilante campaign, which was a completely anti-fraud driven campaign, and that's the kind of challenge that we are facing, was significant. So influencer is one that helps us to grow Toma. Second is obviously YouTube, right? The way YouTube has come up in terms of share of voice, especially, and with the packs that have come in, which is like, let's say for me, the entire auto loan pack, for an auto loan product, the entire auto influencers pack, 100% SOV is significantly important than just doing a customer-led video, true view or reserve buy. So that's something really helping us at a Toma level. What I've done is, but when a traffic comes in, what's grown up significantly is my remarketing. And if you remember, what we used to do is a lot of cookie-led remarketing. Even if it's a programmatic remarketing, we have stopped that. Remarketing, WhatsApp and SMS is doing killer stuff over there. Okay, so what we think is Toma is more of a, like, let's say, outward driven. But once the traffic has come in, the kind of communication that you do, the remarketing that you do, and there are a lot of science in terms of what is getting remarketed and then leading to nurturing-led remarketing. Okay, but WhatsApp and SMS is doing a fantastic job in that. I think that's how we are kind of weighing each of the channels, and these are the 2-3 things that's kind of really helped. The other part is obviously Meta. I was amazed to see how Meta, which actually used to be more of brand-driven, how it has started doing performance-driven is a significant aspect. In fact, a product for auto, it's actually beating, the cost of my CAC is actually beating Google search at times. So not endorsing anything at this point of time, but I think it's kind of, the signals that Meta is passing is brilliant intent. But yeah, a lot of the channels mix are changing. Yeah.
All right, so for me, it's organic all the way. I'm biased though because I run a search, an SEO agency. But the fact is that the search volumes have just gone through the roof over the last 3-5 years, right? If you look at, the set of keywords that represent personal loan as an industry, the search volumes have grown by 46% over the last 3 years. Gold loan has increased by 1,460%. Health insurance has grown by, again, 44-45%. Fixed deposits has grown by 100% in 2 years. So the search volumes, whether you're looking at lending, whether you look at insurance, investments, the search volumes have just gone through the roof. So it's an absolute no-brainer to invest in organic. The other thing is that, the demand for financial products, but also the demand for financial literacy has increased. Right? So the consumers are doing a lot of research online. And if you consistently show up in organic search results, it goes a long way towards establishing trust with your brand. So the ones who sort of recognize the potential of organic and have invested in enterprise SEO, optimizing for thousands and thousands of keywords are actually able to drive a ton of traffic. And I think everybody understands that organic traffic, the quality is extremely high. If you're disbursing personal loans, then your traffic to lead ratio, your lead to disbursal ratios are significantly higher. But more interestingly, your average disbursal amount is even also higher. So I think that makes a very, very strong case for organic.
If I can just add one more thing, I think, at least my experience and across categories has been that in digital marketing, the cost of acquisition for your first customer is largely net negative, right? You're never making money on your first customer or your first transaction. And that is true literally across most categories. So then it's a function of you're a multi-product business like a bank that you can, kind of cross-sell, upsell other products. So that is one part where your email marketing and WhatsApp and whatever else will comes in. But the other thing, and to supplement the point of organic, is therefore whenever you're running digital marketing campaigns, especially at an aggregate level, you need to have a certain balance of organic and digital share. And unless you have an organic share of around 40 to at least 55%, your digital marketing will never kind of stand on its feet. And at some point, some CEO will say, boss, you've cut down the budgets and so on. The other last point is that I think today, wherever or whichever channel customers buy their products on, they will always go and do an organic search to know a little more about the product, which again kind of validates the whole point of organic, right?
Absolutely.
So this is, I think, very interesting, right? So probably I just want to take this forward a bit further. Is that how do you in various BFSI sector, but probably for your business or related business, you can talk about that. How are you building that 40-45% organic as a channel, and then making your digital efforts, marketing efforts more profitable?
Yeah. So I think let's take right now, right? You would see there are all these Myntra, Amazon, everybody's doing some e-commerce sale or the other. But all of them are, in a sense, advertising either on television or connected TV or any of the other things, because at the end of the day, you have to, the brand funnel still works. You have to get a basic degree of awareness, get a basic degree of consideration. The more serious the category, or the bigger the purchase, the ticket size, or the period, like in the case of insurance, you will find that the customer is actually kind of looking at 2 or 3 products or brands and then taking a decision. So therefore, the role of organic, whether it is through content, whether it's through SEO, whether it is through videos, whether it's through influencer marketing, whether it's through TV brand campaigns or YouTube campaigns or whatever, is actually very, very important. And again, I'll emphasize that unless you have a 40, 45, 50% share, you will not have a scalable digital campaign. You hear of so many startups where they acquire X number of customers and ultimately they don't last, right? Because the model works only if you have a decent enough share of organic to digital.
And earlier, the biggest channel was TV, right? Now, has it changed? How, just some flavor on that as well.
Yeah. So again, that's a function of, I would say, different businesses. If I talk of our business, like I said, I think if I talk of the SBI group per se, and while SBI is like a, and each of the subsidiaries are actually deemed as private sector companies, and we operate absolutely standalone, but they are literally some of the best examples of cross-sell and upsell, because you're able to take that franchise of customers and are able to migrate them across different categories. And if you look at financial services, the main thing is people buy into a brand or a mother brand. So whether it's ICICI and HDFC and SBI, that's how you're able to successfully kind of migrate and be a leader or be a contender across various categories. Because these products are large ticket, they are over longer duration. The proposition fundamentally is around trust and delivery. And therefore, once you form or you have a good experience with one, you would typically kind of stick with that, right?
So Azmat, you talked about when someone opens an account and how do you activate that and make it probably a primary account, and that was a great insight, right? Now I understand why after I open a new account, why do I get messages and I've become more aware, but it is good, it's and I would love to some bank which is more proactive would obviously probably win over for me to make that as the primary account. Coming to the acquisition, right? So what are the acquisition channels for you? And I think all the banks are now looking at increasing the CASA, the current accounts and savings accounts in a big way, right? So how does that acquisition happens? That would be very interesting to know. Do digital channels help you in doing that? Do traditional channels help you in doing that? If you can throw some more insight on that.
Sure. So first of all, in terms of channels, it's everything put together, and every channel has its own role to play, including the traditional channels like television and all, which are about creating awareness. Digital channel can fulfill almost any marketing objective that there is, and also the offline customer engagements through events and all. So everything has a role to play in terms of acquisition. As a bank, we use all the channels. In terms of digital, similar to what Jahid was mentioning, it is across, and even for performance campaign, it's across organic search, social channels, Meta, Insta, all of them put together. YouTube is a great channel for video communication. But one thing that I really want to talk about is it's no longer about marketing a product or a service. Now, in today's day and age, and also because the customers are changing, the customer, life cycles and everything is different. We are talking about the new breed of customers, which is the Gen Z and the millennials. And all organizations are looking at targeting them because they are the customers of the future. And the behavior of a Gen Z and a millennial is very different from us as customers. So there is a lot of changes happening, to align with the changing trends of the customers. And it's no longer enough to market a product or a service. It's about, giving a segmented offering, a consolidated offering to a customer, whichever segment they are in. So if I'm talking to the youth of India, if I'm talking to the younger generation, I am not only targeting my Youth Plus account, I'm also talking about education solutions. I'm also talking about, a debit card. I'm also talking about offers which are meaning for them. They also want things like instant gratification, and so all this has to be put in place, and you need to really give them segmented offering. And in that sense, we may even go beyond banking. In fact, I'm a firm believer of beyond banking. So we are no longer a bank, we are a partner for that customer, and therefore I have to pitch in and even help with the other non-banking things through partnerships. We may want to extend educational consulting, career counseling. We may do a lot of educational workshops and so on and so on. And only with all this put together can meaningful acquisitions take place. That's my view.
No, that's a great point, because I think if you have to have new accounts, then Gen Z is very, very important. So, I will go to Zahid on this, right? So, a lot of my money is in SDFC Bank stock, basically.
Very safe, don't worry.
And I'm putting more right now, because
Right
it's obviously it's a great opportunity right now, is what I feel. And so, but as an investor, a question comes to my mind that SDFC Bank has been a leader. Now we acquired HDFC as well. Obviously, it will create more efficiencies and so on. That's not the topic for today's discussion. But more important, is that as an investor, I would say that HDFC Bank, I am, invested in the stock for next 10 years. But maybe a new age bank comes in and they start acquiring the Gen Z faster than HDFC Bank, right? And they are doing obviously all their digital channels probably in a different way, which appeals to the Gen Z. So, probably you can throw some light around that as well. And it's not a question particularly for HDFC Bank, but you are obviously sitting from a point of view where, how do large private sector banks are competing with new age banks, fintechs, and how are they, kind of attracting the Gen Z from digital efforts?
Very interesting question, and it's not that we are not aware of the challenges. Okay, yeah. One thing that we are aware of consciously is the next Gen Z, Gen Alpha should not be looking at us the way we may have been looking at SBI. Sorry, no hard feelings. Okay, so that's the conscious feeling that we are trying to work from now only. Okay, because it's 25 years in the industry, right? And after maybe another 10, 15 years, it should not be the fuddy-duddy bank, right, which my fathers used to bank. So how do I change? And the change will not come by just talking about it. The change has to come from the touch, the feel, the overall ethos of the bank, right? And how do we go around everything around the surround sound? And that's a very conscious, in fact, very soon, maybe in a couple of days, you'll get to know the digital aspects of it. We launched yesterday something called, maybe I'll have to hold on to this whole conversation. You'll get to see in a couple of days' time. Okay. And so see, the whole thing is, today, briefly what he was talking about, the financial literacy in this country is least, forget about the developed nations, even in the PARC nations. Okay, so it's around hardly 24%. Okay, so the first agenda that we have to drive is how do I handhold people in terms of financial education. Okay, today my son was the school has been taken to Kidzania, okay, where I know that they also teach banking. So the whole financial inclusion, money matters. Forget about cards, forget about loans. To help people make sense of money is the first thing that we have to kind of ensure as a DNA, irrespective of the brand coming in, not coming in, right? Second is once you start growing with the whole culture of money, how to manage money, right? That's subtly if you are growing along with us, because if I am there in your passion points, in your decisioning phase, or in your decisioning phase of passion, because when you get up in the morning, you don't think of bank. You think of your passion points, and bank is just an enabler to it, right? So if I can help you decide during your passion points, like even if it's an international travel, what are the hacks where you can save money during an international travel? A lot of people don't know, and they're still carrying cash, or they're swiping their credit card when they go over there. A Forex card makes so much more sense. What are the advantages? Those are the things that I really want to kind of help people grow with. You take my Forex card, you take somebody else's Forex card, is not of my concern completely, okay? And that's something we want to change completely. That's the whole literacy part. Second is the entire content. When we are talking about content is not restricted only to articles or videos. Reels has come big, right? We have launched something very recently, something called FJ Monisha, okay? So financial jockey Monisha, and the way the FJ Monisha is talking about it, you guys can go to our Insta handle and check her out, is something that people should relate to. So what I'm saying is, let's understand the Gen Zs and Gen Alphas, where are they spending time? Each of the platforms have their own native advantages. How as a bank, we are leveraging it, leading to the whole stack. Now, P square, C square is everything is going around, right? It's presence-less, paperless, cashless, and then consent. So it's basically the combination of Aadhaar, DigiLocker, UPI, and then Sammati or account aggregators. So once, first of all, people should relate to me, and that's where I'm creating the whole Toma around content, okay, natively present in each of the digital platforms. And when people are ready, that's where the entire seamless experience has to come in. Yeah, and that's what we are trying to evolve to. And hopefully, some people might, competition or fintechs that you're talking about, they might be at an uptake at this point of time in terms of UI, but I think what we can be proud of is the quality of consumers that we are acquiring. I think that's what we're kind of sticking to. Yeah.
Right, and basically for Gen Z, social channels are important. That's why you're more and more there and with your content.
The discovery, so there is discovery and then there is acquisition. Okay, so what we are very consciously thinking of is the discovery should be as native as relatable. Personalization is everywhere, okay, but when it's discovery, it has to be as native and as relatable. I cannot push myself into discovery, right? And then when it's acquisition, it has to be as seamless, and it's like fingertips and at the moment, right? So these are the two things taken care of separately. This is more of MarTech, the acquisition part, which gives you the seamless aspect. The discovery is more of ad tech and more of, let's say, my entire social and content spread that helps us to go about it.
Yeah, and if I look at my behavior, I'm not Gen Z obviously, but discovery is all on open internet, right? It's all on, I go on social, I go on YouTube. YouTube has been a big source of a lot of financial information, as some of us were saying. But then I also go and read articles, and there are so many good blogs and in-depth, if I have to go, then, I read about that. So, yeah, I think there are, and of course, meaning Gen Z is completely digital now. So they are consuming all these different channels.
A quick example, if you just do a quick thing of Infinia cards and Axis Magnus was doing good, just do a quick search and you will see the complete list of articles that we'll get in the third-party forums, none from us, but what people are talking about Infinia and how it is better than any of the cards in that segment, right? And that's what's all about. When people are looking for it, which card is the best, how not only the brand, but at least 20 other people talking about the same card in multiple different competitive model, that's what gives people confidence. And that it cannot be done just like that. There are a lot of science behind it, and how can we see it? Yeah.
And I think the competition is not just from, neobanks or, audiences changing. We're speaking about Gen Z. I think just generally consumer behavior changes over time. And it's when you look at search trends data, for example, what we do at our end is because we are looking at search data, search trends all the time, there's some very, very interesting data that emerges. I spoke about how personal loan industry search volumes have grown by 46%. But what's very interesting is instant personal loan has grown by 126% in the same period. So there is a demand for instant loan now. There is a keyword personal loan chahiye. So Hindi searches have increased by 43-44%.
Can I just interrupt once?
Yeah, please.
All of a sudden, around in September, October, savings account, huge search volume. वो भी हिंदी में. Why? Apparently, Google started an ad in Hindi. Like, it was a hyperlocal search. The advertisement were in Hindi. And one of those ads was saying, account near me. There was an Hindi thing. And the search volumes for those Hindi keywords kind of shot up. And that was leading to savings account in Hindi volumes. Okay. Also, personal loan under 20,000, personal loan under 50,000.
Exactly.
So I think search trends, forget about the algorithm what Google does and they tease us every day, but the search trends are also changing pretty dynamically. And that's what I think also is kind of, is very effective in how do we kind of keep a track of it, yeah.
So I think you have to have your pulse on the search trends, because that's a direct insight into consumer behavior. And if you have your pulse on consumer behavior and then, if you're I would say a proactive brand, then you make changes to your marketing strategy, to your product offering accordingly, right? Another interesting insight is, people are searching for personal loan for bad credit, personal loan for 500 credit score, right? And I know of NBFCs, and there are, all of these loan apps out there which cater specifically to this audience, right? So I think one has to have their pulse.
So you take loan, you do the installments in a timely manner, and you increase your credit score. Is that what?
I just have them ranked. I don't know what the business model is.
No, but people who get, let's say, unfortunately get rejected, that's where the nurturing model comes in. See, people might get rejected because of lack of awareness.
Sorry, meaning, is my understanding correct that, is that how, suppose my credit score is low, and I take a loan and I plan to, and give the installments in a timely manner, and that will obviously help me to increase my credit score. Is that right?
Yeah. So there is a lot of chance, opportunity given to you to grow up in life.
Which is good.
No, it is. Because I think a lot of us, that's what financial literacy is very important. 24%, we have all kind of maybe not given, avoided. That all shows. 200 rupees of something that has not got paid is also impacting your credit score. People don't know it. But what we are trying to do is nurture those people and not just say rejected and then kind of forget about it. And that's where if they can grow along with us in helps of nurturing, the brand love kind of really grows. And that's something we're trying to do consciously. And SEO helps really. Yeah.
I think this might be one of the best insight for, So I think, I'm picking up some, threads here. So obviously Gen Z, what channels they are on, and things are changing very quickly as well. Plus, when a financial institution acquires a consumer, then they are able to nurture the consumer, right? And so obviously data and data analytics plays a very, very important role, right? And most of the financial companies would have a lot of data about their consumers, right? And they would be able, and I would, I would say it's a good thing because, I would always want to have a personalized service where, by analyzing my data, if my bank or my financial institution can advise me better to manage my money, I would love to have that kind of advice, and I get that as well, right? So, so again, we talk about acquisition and nurturing, right? These two segments. In that, what is the role of data analytics, and predictive modeling for optimizing BFSI marketing campaigns? And maybe we can start with you, Sarvesh, on this question.
See, again, everything that we do on the organic side is all data-led, right? So for me, data analysis is very, very important. We do AOP planning for our customers. So, we look at trends for the last 2-3 years. However, the search volumes of personal loans increase. It's increased by 10-15% year over year. So we are able to predict that next year also it's going to increase by a certain amount. So yeah, absolutely, data analysis, predictions, very, very critical to the overall process. And again, I'm repeating myself, but if you've got your pulse on the trends, if you're optimizing your content, you're offering to meet those demands, then you're likely to succeed, right? So again, search trends reveal that, for example, search volumes for app-related keywords, personal loan on app has increased by 167%. When we first started doing SEO, we were doing just data crunching for, desktop search volumes and mobile search volumes. Now we are actively looking at app marketing and looking at, what are the search volumes on Play Store and what are the search volumes on Google for app-related keywords. And we're seeing that, consumers are more and more downloading apps and using apps to transact, right? So I think all of this comes from data analysis, predictions.
On predictive modeling, at South Indian Bank, we do a very interesting, this on predictive modeling, of course, powered by AI and all. So there are, for the liabilities set of, which is your accounts, there is a propensity modeling which happens, which is, to simply put, just simplifying it, is the model kind of identifies your most potent cohort who is likely to avail a specific product that you're trying to promote. So if I'm trying to promote FCNR deposits, even within the NRI segment, I'm identifying that segment who is most likely to do. So this is what the predictive modeling using AI does, basis on a lot of triggers, mostly internal, which is financial transaction led, but some external triggers are also integrated. So this kind of, the idea and what this tool, what this modeling throws out is most likely, least likely, and it gives you that segments. And you can actually get that 25-35% of your customers who are most likely to, 80% of your sale can be fulfilled by this segment. So even for the bank, it's very effective, more cost effective. You're doing targeted communication to the respective Customer gets a very relevant messaging in the right moment when they need that service. So this really works for us.
So do you use this for, communicating to them through a marketing channel, or they're your existing consumers, so you don't need to do
No, they
that?
are existing customers, but we have a host of channels which we use even for existing customers. So those channels, all of those channels are being used. The second thing is for assets, which is the loans, where we are using the predictive modeling technology. We are identifying likelihood of default, not so that we don't give them a loan, but to identify the customers who we can give a pre-approved loan offer. Like he said, people want personal loan in the instant, and also using this through both internal and external triggers. Of course, credit score is a big one in that, and their behavior, where you can figure out that this set of customers, you can give them a pre-approved personal loan. And using the app, they can get it instantly. In 10 seconds, the amount gets credited to your account once a pre-approved offer is given to you. And the third thing that we do through predictive modeling is our collections strategy, which again, let's say a customer is a defaulting customer, not paying on time. Even within that, through a lot of this, we can identify the level of this, and our strategy of collection is based on that. So this has worked really well for us.
If I can just quickly say a few things. So I think, like I was mentioning, at SBI General Insurance, we are in the insurance business, the risk management business. So acquiring a customer is just the start of the journey. We do a lot of work on the risk management, the modeling, and using the data and analytics to serve up the right pricing. And I'll just give two examples of how we operate. So one is we operate at a portfolio level. So depending on what channel we have acquired the customer from, geo mapping, etc., segmentation, occupation, bunch of it's a multivariate kind of analysis. We are able to actually assess that this is how the portfolio will kind of figure profitability, right? We know what the loss ratios are in the first year, and then we are able to predict how that will kind of play out in the next second, third year. And we actually use that for dynamic pricing for the second and third year. So that is a very, very key part, that once you acquire a portfolio and you keep churning data on it, you are able to use that for repricing. Second is we use that for cross-sell and upsell. And that part has been really, really kind of helpful for us, because we are able to, again, using a bunch of tools, cross-sell benefits which actually make sense for the customer, and therefore the offtake rate is very, very high.
Great. Okay, so I think, just quickly, last 5 minutes we have, our time is actually up, but I wanted to conclude it. So, two thoughts here. So one is, when you're looking at your digital campaigns, what are the KPIs by which you measure the success, right? And, on data-driven digitization and the whole technology piece, a concluding thought, very quickly. Maybe we can start with Rathin, you. Okay, we can start with Sarvesh.
See, again, organic, the metrics are very obvious. I think, you look at rankings, you look at traffic. We are always trying to tell our clients that organic click is so much cheaper than the paid click. So we take out the CPCs for organic, and it's a no-brainer. So similarly, cost per lead for organic is so much cheaper. But like I was saying, encourage my customers also to take out, your traffic to lead ratio, your lead to dispersal ratio, or, if it's an account opening, then, account opening ratio. And you're able to see that your percentage of active customers, I think those are the metrics to look at. And, if your organic campaign is effective, then I think it sort of beats all other mediums on all of these metrics.
So quickly, across the IDA model, TOMA, I think let's move beyond BLSs. It's organic search query.
Let's go beyond, sorry.
on that, the TOMA level, which is the completely, if it's a brand-driven campaign, so is any kind of, be it ATL, be it your digital, how is it helping in your search organic queries leading to traffic? If it's consideration, okay, if it's consideration, also in TOMA, non-brand query growth, not only brand query growth, how is it coming to you? Consideration is all about CRO, and my entire optimization in terms of stickiness and conversion from my traffic to business. Consider, and my acquisition is all about, first is CAC, and then is about lifetime value. That's what our thing is.
Yeah, so Siddharth, for us, because we are promoting a lot of BFSI clients, I personally feel I keep on talking to them, and I realize the key factor for them is eventually LTV. Whatever, even if you talk about basic key metrics, definitely one thing is definitely if you're able to do that kind of audience segmentation, you're able to match those souls, like-minded souls, I would say, and you're able to cross-sell them. If the LTVs are increasing or not, and definitely, talking about the same things, websites and, increasing CPS.
So, Jahid already touched upon it. So, all of those KPIs are also what we look at in terms of potential customers. Cost of acquisition is the predominant KPI, and of course, relationship value. For existing customers also, because a lot of digital data-driven segmented campaigns are happening on your existing customer set, and I think existing customers have a huge, value even for new products and services. You're like 5 times more. It's 5 times less costly, and 60% higher chances of getting new products sold to an existing customer. So we do a lot of aggressive campaigns there, and there again the metrics. One of the key metrics is how many products is one customer having of the bank. Like he said, we have multiple products, and the target is to at least get a customer to have 3 or more products. So we popularly call it P2C, product to customer. And of course, in terms of balances, transaction, these are some of the metrics when it comes to existing customers.
So as a marketing head, I think the top 3 metrics would be, first would be the customer lifetime value, second would be the cost of acquisition, and third would be the volume of customers. I think those are the 3 major metrics to manage, and then everything else is kind of below the funnel.
Great. Thank you. I had a lot of fun and a lot of insights, and I have this idea in my mind that FMCG industry is, they are the benchmark for branding, and e-commerce industry is the benchmark for, say, performance. But what I can see is BFSI wants to be best in both branding and performance, in both ways. So amazing insights.
The only fact is we don't have a catalog level e-commerce marketing. Otherwise, I think performance-wise, we're at par.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.